Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today we're going to finish off our bubble lettering practice by going for this third style over here, which is the basic straight lettering style. Making some connections back to the history of graffiti, we're going to write the word Roman today. So big R, O, M, A, and then why don't we write a big capital N right there. When it comes to straight lettering, our first task is going to be to take all these curved letters in the R, the O, the M, and the A, all the curved parts, we're going to convert them into straight line segments. The way you do that is by adding a few dots, not a lot, on these edges to prepare them to be turned into line segments. More necessarily isn't better here. After you establish the dots, you can connect them and see if you like the result. Like for instance over here, I might want an extra dot instead of just a 4. So all we're dealing with right now are straight line segments after we made that conversion. Once you've done that, you can begin to quote unquote inflate each of these strokes similarly with how we did over here, except instead of using ovals like we did, if you have a stroke of your pencil, we're going to box it out with a rectangle. So sketching things out lightly, take each of your strokes that you made and put a box around it. Don't forget the insides of these letters that have some internal spaces, like the R and the O. Okay. Let's go ahead and switch tools to the ultrafine point Sharpie. And we're going to outline just the outermost lines of what we've drawn out. So nothing on the inside, just the outermost outlines. So you're going to skip all the intersections of the boxes and you're just keeping the outermost boundaries. Something I forgot to mention, before you go ahead and handle the ink, make sure your ink guard is behind the paper that you are drawing on with Sharpie or pen so that it doesn't bleed to the back side of the paper onto the next page. Once you've outlined all these out, we can get rid of all the pencil lines inside of the letters. Go ahead and erase them out cleanly. Now let's get a little bit more practice with adding shadows and see what it feels like when it comes to these straight type letters. So again, imagine the direction of light coming this way from the top left. Now we have these distinct corners that we can draw these small dashes from. That should make things a little bit clearer than it was with the round or bubble lettering we had. These dash lines can then be used to kind of connect the dots and replicate these edges and duplicate them over to meet up with the dashes we just drew out. Make sure that these dashes are all going in the same direction. And sketching them out like this in pencil is usually a best practice. One way that you can know you're putting the shadow on the wrong side is if you're putting it, say, here, you know that the light coming in from this direction would eat that shadow right up. You want to go on the opposite side of where the light's coming from to add in these dash marks. So dash mark, and then connect the dots. Now, instead of shading in the insides of these shadows like full black like we did before, let's try a little something different. Switch back to the ultrafine point Sharpie. Let's trace out the outermost lines of these shadow shapes we just established. And then on the insides of these, we can go in there with our pencil to shade them in with a bit of a lighter gray. If you keep your pencil in the same direction as the light's coming in, you can add what looks like hatch marks to kind of enhance the direction of the light. We can also add another type of embellishing detail that isn't necessarily going on the inside of the letters. Switch over to your fine point Sharpie and outline the outermost lines of everything we've drawn so far. So nothing on the insides. And wherever the letters meet, you don't want your fine point Sharpie to go into any of the letters there. Just stay on the outside of everything. This will help kind of encapsulate everything in a nice way. Don't forget the insides. Once you have that kind of secondary outline, you can go back in with the Sharpie and add in some large black circles. You can start with a larger one like this, get a smaller one attached to it, and then a tiny one detached. This will help you add some points of interest that help to guide the viewer's eyes around the piece. Don't make them all the same size though. Add some variation, this one being my largest one. They don't all need 3 dots. Some can just have 2 like this. I tend to like concentrating them around these sorts of areas where there's a lot of small little portions of negative space. I'm going to distribute them around here and there. And some can just stand alone like that. So there we have it. That is some basic straight lettering. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'll see you in class.